Hi Clay, good to see you after, was it 2 years, 2.5 years?
2.5 years, yes sir.
Since we installed the last Titan Robotics 3D printer. So how have things been going?
Very well, man. It's been a crazy ride, but we've moved to a new facility and we've expanded very much. Our technology has improved drastically, and we're staying on top of that. So it's been a wild ride for the past few years. So thank you for asking.
I understand that the 3D printer we bought 2.5 years ago is now becoming a dinosaur.
It's a little old, but it still works.
And that it's really moved forward. I remember last year when I visited you in Colorado that you had made a 3D printer with 5-axis. Can you explain a bit more about that?
So the Cronus was the machine we made for Autodesk as a development project. So it has 5 different print heads that can work as a team in unison.
Yeah.
Autodesk has since put that project in stasis. So it's not moving forward as far as the software goes, but we still have the only 2 machines in the world that have ever been made with that technology.
So using any other technology to replace it?
Yep, so we've developed an extremely high-speed motion control system. We partnered with Yaskawa on the development of that, and we were able to print over 500 millimeters per second with pellet extrusion. So we have we're skipping the filament process and going directly from pellet to print. So that is our really big differentiator in the market, and that's what set us as a leader in the medium format 3D printer space.
And it's my understanding using pellet is much cheaper?
It's much cheaper, so it's about 1/10 the cost of filament. The print speed is over 10x higher, and the capabilities and the materials that you can use are much more advanced. So the materials can be loaded with up to 50% glass or carbon fiber. They can be very soft, room temperature waxes. You can print most polymers out there.
Okay. Now, what sort of, we have this project which we also call Titan expansion project for this year. Well, we were meant to have had it 2 years ago, but there was no point in moving ahead with it because we still were not very clear about a lot of things with the technology of 3D printing and so on. So one of the things we're considering is upgrading to a much bigger printer, in particular for our investment casting. But as you have said before, we can use the existing printer for the investment casting. But we go for a bigger format printer with pellets. What do you think we could? What areas of products we could move in and print with different types of plastics?
Sure. So you can start moving into in-use parts, parts for different industries, different customers you may find in Africa that need some production solutions. The polymers, since they're so much stronger and more advanced, they can be put through a lot more rigorous environments. So in true manufacturing environments or commercial environments, you can use different products that you might be able to create. And we have customers in the world that have gone to full production with our machinery.
Okay, so you do have certain ideas of things that can be produced, and we could actually sit and get a better clue on it.
Yep.
Good. Now, what about using beads and metal printing and plastic infused or metal infused beads? And are you guys looking at that at all?
So it can be printed. The trickiest part is the sintering process. So it's not necessarily the printing as the issue. It's very difficult to ensure that the parts are designed well for sintering and that they sinter thoroughly and properly without any deformation.
Okay, so are you working on that, or?
We are exploring options, but as of right now, we are really focusing on more advanced polymers, specifically, high temperature carbon fiber filled materials.
we get the pellet printer, would we be able to play around with, because we are intending to also do metal printing, so maybe play around also using metal infused.
You can certainly play around with it. For us, the R&D cost is having to send out the parts to sintering. So sending out the parts to sintering, it's costly. They charge you a minimum fee of $2,000.
So if we have a sintering furnace, we could go ahead.
You could develop it a lot quicker. You could develop the process quicker than we can.
So we could go into R&D then.
Yeah, you could.
That sounds interesting. Good. Now
That's where the value add is, right?
Yeah. Well, we're happy to announce that we actually have formed the Additive Manufacturers Association of Africa. You are on the board already, just like also Professor Esther Kinglade from University of Johannesburg, and the Dean of Applied Technology of University of Milwaukee, and Mr. Frode from Norway, and a whole group of other people. And the aim is basically to promote additive manufacturing, and because we actually feel that it's our last chance to actually industrialize in Africa by frog leaping the technology that we have already lost. Yeah, just would like a little bit of your comments on this.
Sure. Yeah, so I think as we discussed earlier in the week, Africa is at an advantage for accelerated technology adoption because of the, I'm not going to say lack of previous mindsets, but not stuck in the ways of traditional manufacturing and the way things, people aren't thinking, oh, this is the way things have always been, this is the way we're going to do it. They can think a little clearer and utilize this new technology to develop products in a way that most people couldn't picture. So we do think Africa is a very good market for us for 3D printing as an industry to enter. So we're very excited to work with you guys on that and see how we can get more machines in Africa.
So, like I was saying, there is going to be need for a lot of awareness, education down at the school levels, and programs for additive manufacturing before it starts becoming mainstream. That means that we need to see you over here a bit more often, besides just coming in and installing new machines.
Well, I think as what has happened in the United States, education has really picked up on the concept of additive manufacturing as a solution to many problems in current technology. So what we have been seeing for the past 6 years is that as students are educated through the ranks of school, starting out in middle school, high school, college, they have experience with 3D printers, and they know from their classes that they can utilize this technology to make solutions much easier and faster than they normally could through other ways of manufacturing, such as machining or injection molding, and the cost is much less. So students that are now coming into industry have that mentality in the United States and Europe as well, I think. But what's happening is it is forcing us as manufacturers to really push the limits of how far 3D printing can go. We work with partner companies on the development of these technologies. And what we have seen is the root of all of our big leaps in the past few years were results of companies that had students or hired engineers that were students who had experience in 3D printing. So those are the ones moving the needle.
Just about yesterday, I was with University of Lagos with the mechanical engineering dean and some professors, and University of Bayreuth of Germany is willing to come, wants to come to Nigeria with Unilag and to visit some industries and see how they can promote 3D printing and so on, which I find very interesting, that the Germans have actually singled out Nigeria, well, not Nigeria in particular, but found interest in Africa. That means that there's a lot of potentiality. What do you think you guys can drum up for Nigeria from in a similar way from the USA?
Well,
doesn't necessarily have to be university groups or whatever, but definitely anyone who wants to eventually enjoy the markets and whatever will have to be part of this whole awareness and everything of pushing additive manufacturing and digital manufacturing in Nigeria and in Africa.
So how can we help with that? It's a good question, Vassily. I would like to say that, working with you guys as a partner in this adventure of additive manufacturing, and the promoting we have done so far has really, people have come to us and they're very surprised. Whoa, you guys are in Africa. There's people doing this in Africa. I think bringing awareness to the table has helped so far, and I think that's continuing to do so will help. The universities that we do have touch with, I don't know if any of them have international outreach programs like the University of Bayreuth. I think that's very uniquely European. But working through AFS and organizations that we do have close ties with, I think we can bring some interest in the traditional foundry sector in Nigeria. The universities, we'll see. I think we'll see tomorrow night when I get to meet these people and get more of an understanding of what it looks like.
Well, also, I mean, around the 20th of March, we will be meeting in what's they call the Additive Manufacturers
AMOG, yes, sir.
Conference, which is which is quite technical and hands-on from what I understand, and we can see how it goes on over there. But it's definitely I'd say one of the first experiences I've had where a new technology is now becoming like a crusade.
That's what happens when you're an early adopter.
Anyway, we're going ahead with our Titan expansion project. We're looking by December this year that as Nigerian Foundries, we are the reference point for entire Africa, not as an institution, but as a manufacturing concern that is 50 years old, but the reference point in Africa for 3D printing. Also the development of metal 3D printing and anything new that comes. My biggest support group is all the young people coming out of universities here. We've got the intellect and the clear mind to espouse this technology, learn it and espouse it and create from it, and then go back again and learn it. It's a cycle. That's the difference of this new technology compared to other technologies, because here you've got to think, you've got to learn, you've got to implement, experience, and go back again.
Yep.
And it will be very interesting. We also have plans to duplicate what we're doing in some other African countries, smaller ones, small African countries, but duplicating it. And yes, I'd say it's not, the vision is not looking at the cost or looking at the benefit. It is looking from my side in what we can do for Africa to industrialize. As a foundry that is going to 51 years, we know what we suffered to get the technology we had and to reach to the level we've reached. And today we are being supported by, we are supporting some foundries in Cote d'Ivoire. We're supporting also, looking to set up some foundry in Sierra Leone, because they clearly know that they can't get that technology abroad because nobody's ready to give it. But additive manufacturing, that's the difference, because it's such a new technology, everybody's open to give it to you. So that's where I see a big chance and a big difference. Let's see how it goes. I think we are in good position with all of our contacts to be able to promote this crusade in Africa.
Well, I agree. I think it's a very good thing that you guys are, you've set up the AMAA. We're happy to provide whatever help we can with that, whether it be from abroad or coming back to Africa and promoting the technology. We're willing to do that. So, yeah, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you very much, Clay.